Book of Heaven, Volume 17, September 11th, 1924. Terrible effects of an opposition of the soul to the divine will. Even though, while living on earth, the soul does not feel all the joys and goods of the divine will as her life, she will feel them all in heaven, multiplied. I was feeling very disturbed, and I prayed Jesus to have compassion on me and to take himself all the care of my poor soul. And I said to him, "Oh, please, take even everyone away from me, as long as you alone remain with me. You alone are enough for me. After so long, you should have made me content. More so, since I ask for nothing but you alone." Now, while I was saying this and other things, my Jesus took my arm, as if he himself wanted to free me, and therefore do for me the office of my confessor. Oh, how happy I felt in seeing Jesus do this, and I thought to myself, finally, the hardest of my sacrifices is over. But vain and fleeting happiness. As Jesus took my arm, at that very moment he escaped, and I was left in my usual state without being able to come round. Oh, how I cried, and I prayed that he would have compassion on me. Then, after a few hours, my lovable Jesus came back, and seeing me crying and all embittered, he said to me,
"My daughter, do not cry. Don't you want to trust your Jesus? Let me do, and do not take things lightly. Rather, oh, how many sad things are about to happen. My justice can no longer hold back the lightnings to strike the creatures. They are all about to break out, one against the other. And when you hear of the evils of your brothers, you will feel remorse about your oppositions to your usual sacrifice, as if you too had put your hand in pushing justice to strike the creatures."
On hearing this, I said, "My Jesus, may this never be, nor do I want to withdraw from your will. On the contrary, I pray you to free me from the most awful of misfortunes, that of not doing your most holy will. Nor do I ask you to free me from suffering, rather, increase it if you please. Only, I pray you, and as a grace I want from you only if you want it, that you free me from the bother I give to the confessor. This is too hard for me, and I feel I do not have the strength to bear it. So only if you please. Otherwise, give me more strength, but do not permit that your most holy will be not fulfilled upon me." And Jesus, resuming his speaking, added,
"My daughter, remember that I asked of you a yes in my will, and you pronounced it with all love. That yes still exists and holds its first place in my unending will. Everything you do, think, and say is bound to that yes, from which nothing can escape, and my will enjoys and makes feast in seeing a will of creature live in my will, and I keep filling it with new graces, and I constitute all your acts as divine acts. This is the greatest portent that exists between heaven and earth. It is the object dearest to me, and if, may this never be, it were torn away from me, I would feel myself being torn and would cry bitterly. See, as you were making that little opposition, your yes trembled with fright. At that trembling, the foundations of the heavens were shaken. Trembling, all saints and angels, and the whole sphere of eternity, looked with horror and sorrow, as they felt an act of divine will being torn away from them, because, since my will envelops everyone and everything, they felt the acts you have done as one thing with themselves, and therefore all felt the painful tearing. I could say that all took the attitude of profound sorrow."
Frightened at this speaking of Jesus, I said, "My love, what are you saying? Is this possible? All this evil? Your speaking makes me die of pains. Oh, please forgive me, have mercy on me who am so bad, and confirm my yes with stronger bonds in your will. Even more, make me die rather than letting me go out of your will." And Jesus again,
"My daughter, calm yourself. As soon as you have placed yourself in my will again, all things have calmed themselves and have taken the attitude of new feast. Your yes continues its rapid rounds within the immensity of my will. Ah, daughter, neither you nor those who direct you have known what it means to live in my will. This is why you do not appreciate it, and it is held as something of no importance. and this is a sorrow for me, while it is the thing which interests me the most, and which, more than all things, should interest all. But alas, they pay attention to other things, to things which are less pleasing or even indifferent to me, rather than to that which glorifies me the most, and which gives them also on this earth immense and eternal goods, and renders them the owners of the goods which my will possesses. See, my will is one, and it embraces all eternity. Now, by living in my will and by making it her own, the soul comes to take part in all the joys and goods that my will contains, and she becomes as though the owner of them. And even though while being on earth she does not feel all those joys and goods, by keeping them in deposit within her will, by virtue of my will done on earth, when she dies and finds herself up there in heaven, she will feel all those joys and goods which my will issued in heaven while she was living on earth. Nothing will be taken away from her. On the contrary, it will be multiplied. In fact, if the saints have enjoyed of my will in heaven because they live in it, however, it is always enjoying that they live, while the soul who lives in my will on earth lives suffering. So, is it not right that she take those joys and those goods which others have taken in heaven, while she was living on earth in that same will in which they lived? So how many immense riches one who lives in my will on earth does not take? I can say that the whole of eternity moves around her to enrich her, to make her happy. My will deprives her of nothing of what it contains. She is its daughter, and it loves her so much that it does not want to deprive her of anything. Therefore be attentive, my daughter, and do not want to oppose my designs, which I have made upon you.
Thank you for being a part of our community here at Divine Will app. If you enjoy listening to Jesus' lessons on how to live in the divine will, please give this video a thumbs up. Your likes help us reach more souls yearning to live in the kingdom of the divine will. We'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections, so drop a comment below. Your insights not only enrich our community, but also inspire others on their spiritual journey. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By joining us, you're helping to spread the news of the kingdom of the divine will, so that together we can bring His kingdom to reign on earth as it is in heaven. In the divine will, always.